Hello, Transformers fans, and welcome to another unboxing. We're getting back into the rhythm for as long as it's going to take us. It won't be very long, but we've got a few more coming anyways after this. But it's nice to be back in the flow. And today's character is kind of a more major one later in the series. Well, let me just show him to you. He is the Decepticon Scourge. Now, Scourge was born from the events that happened in the Transformers movie from 1986 that kind of bridged, I think, season 2 to season 3. The movie began, if you remember, with kind of the battle for Autobot City in the year, it was 2005 or something like that, or something. It was in the future from when the Transformers series first started. A great many years had gone by. And Unicron, the planet-eating Transformer, was en route, and everybody was worried that he was going to eat Earth, eat Cybertron, eat everybody. But before Unicron got there, there was the battle for Autobot City on Earth, where the Decepticons attacked the Autobots' home base, and it led to so many deaths. And after all the dust had settled during the battle for Autobot City, after all the events happened, many of the Decepticons were left floating in space, badly damaged, on death's door. For the ones that hadn't died, there were so many more that were that close to being dead. Unicron showed up, made a deal with Megatron, said, "I'm going to revive you guys, but you're going to get that Matrix leadership and destroy it." And that kicked off the next sequence of events in the movie. But the Decepticons that were floating near death in space, Megatron was reformed into Galvatron. I've done Galvatron's toy before. Skywarp was transformed into Cyclonus. I've done Cyclonus's character, so you saw him. Now, kind of the third in command guy was born of Thundercracker's corpse, and Thundercracker was turned into Scourge. Now, Scourge is kind of a lower key kind of guy, doesn't really talk all that much. His voice is very kind of low and subdued. He kind of has split loyalties between Galvatron and Unicron, and he says he serves Galvatron, and he's Galvatron's lieutenant, and Galvatron's the only one that can give him any orders. But Cyclonus also kind of bullies Scourge a little bit, and Scourge, you'll see in the clip I have coming up, that Scourge kind of defers to Cyclonus when Cyclonus kind of asserts his authority on Scourge. So he's basically, after that kind of reshaping of the Decepticons in the Transformers movie, kind of like the third in command kind of guy. If you don't include whatever Soundwave and Shockwave kind of are at that point. So he also is in command of a legion of troops, kind of generic Decepticon drones called the Sweeps, and they take on the same form as him. They look just like him, but Scourge is the leader of all these Sweeps, and he kind of commands them to do his bidding and Galvatron's bidding and that sort of thing. Now, Scourge is, he's got a really cool, he almost looks like a vampire or something in his robot mode. Like, he's got all these kind of sharp angles and kind of weird long face. Like, he's got a really distinct look in robot mode. But in his vehicle mode, he's also got a very distinct look. And I'm not sure exactly what kind of ship this is supposed to be. But basically, he's like an airship. But he doesn't really have wings. He almost looks like he should be a boat that goes in water, but he's actually a spaceship that flies. So his vehicle mode is a really kind of distinct, but also very weird one. So I always found his alternate mode kind of like, a head scratcher. But hey, they designed him the way they designed him back in the 80s, and people loved him. So I guess that's all that mattered. So we're gonna have a look quickly at Scourge's G1 toy. I never had it. I was not really a fan of a lot of the molds that came out of the Transformers movie, especially the Decepticon ones. I loved a lot of the Autobot, the new characters from the Autobot side, like Ultra Magnus was a beast. I love that guy. But for the most part, there was a lot of weird ones that came out from the movie. But let's have a look at his G1 toy, and you can have a look at that. So his mold wasn't bad, but just I had no interest in him because, like I said, his ult mode was just this weird, clunky spaceship sort of thing. Like when you look at the original Decepticon Seekers that these guys were taken from, like Thundercrapper. I'm going to trademark that. Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Starscream, the 3 original Decepticon sweeps. They were based on what, the F-14 or F-15 or whatever it was at the time in the 80s, and very distinctly fighter jets, and they looked amazing, and their transformations were awesome, and they were a really cool toy, and you wanted them, right? But I saw this, and I'm like, I'd love to have them, just because I want as many Transformers toys as possible, but you know, if I ever have a chance to get him, he's going to be way at the low end of the list of who I want, right? So, so I just never got him. I didn't really have much interest. But with these new ones, they're so much better. I want to get every possible one that I can, and Scourge was one of the very last ones that I got. And this is an X-Transbots toy, and it took me a long time to find him because I found him way overpriced. Like, I finally found him for a really good price, but for probably well over a year, maybe a couple years, I was looking for him, and it was always like $230, $250, close to $300 for this character, and I'm like, I'm not even paying close to that for this character. So my patience was eventually rewarded. Somebody finally put him up for a reasonable price, and I jumped all over it, and now here he is. Now, before we take him out of the package, I'm going to show you a clip of Scourge and his buddy Cyclonus that bosses him around, and you're going to see in this clip some of the stuff I was talking about earlier. This clip is also taken from the episode of the unboxing I did last week where I did the Autobot Triple Changer Sandstorm. This is at the very start of the episode. I mentioned like Sandstorm was originally from the planet Paradron, or sorry, they ended up settling on Paradron, and that's where Cyclonus and Scourge found him on this planet. So you're going to see how that episode first started. Cyclonus and Scourge are taking on the aerial bots in space, and they take a bit of a beating, and they find this wormhole, and they go through to Paradron, and that's what kind of kicks off all the events of that episode. But it's a pretty good showcase for Scourge and Cyclonus and their relationship together, and it's a good long clip too, so you'll get to see these two guys in action, but especially Scourge, who we are focused on today. So enjoy!
Where'd the Autobot go? We've got him now. Follow me.
All right!
Back off, Scourge. We don't have time to play around. He's all mine.
Your days are numbered now, Decepticons. If only you knew.
I'm getting bad readings. It's a trap.
Surrender, Decepticons!
I retreat for nobody. Spend your shots freely, Autobots. You are shooting in vain. They've got us. What are we gonna do? Attack. I think I'm in bad shape. What do you mean? You think you're damaged? The diagnostics don't work. We'll take cover in there. It appears we are still alive. Where are we? I don't know. My tracking system is blown. Wait. Look. I don't believe it. It can't be. Looks like Cybertron during the fabled Golden Age. Was there no fable? I don't have the strength to fight. Are they gonna take us prisoner or blow us away? Welcome to Paradron, friends! You don't think this is what happens when you get deactivated, do you? Who knows, Scourge? Who knows? Well, out of my way!
There's plenty of energon, brother. Relax.
What's happening? What? Only Galvatron tells Cyclonus what to do?
Same goes for me. Nobody tells me what to do but Galvatron. And, of course, Cyclonus. So, why aren't they trying to blow us away?
Perhaps because they aren't armed.
Have I got the wrong idea? Or are these guys a bunch of wimps?
Yes, they appear to be wimps.
Hey, you're not supposed to be in here.
Who says?
Hey, I'm stuck up here.
Everybody's gotta be somewhere.
There, so you can see in that clip kind of what I was talking about, how like Scourge is kind of a cool customer, doesn't really get all that worked up, seems like the strong silent type, and then until he is basically made a bitch by Cyclonus, right? So, and that's always the thing with the bad guys, you know, they're more likely to blast each other, or is equally as likely to blast each other and fight each other as they are their enemies, right? So the Decepticons always fell into that curse because, you know, Megatron was a madman, but at least he had some sort of common sense from time to time, but Galvatron was just off the deep end. So you could always count on the bad guys kind of being their own worst enemy, let's just say. So, but anyways, let's get Scourge out of his package, see what he looks like. His box is actually really tall, so I'm gonna guess he's gonna be in his robot mode in there, but only one way to find out, right? Well, let's do it. Scourge, or as X-Transbots calls him, Andrus. And the quote they have for him on the side of this box says, "He who fears is already extinct." Yeah, so he's no coward, but he can be made a bitch by his own crew. Oh no, he is in his ship form. Perfect. I love that. Only one transformation involved with this one. He's huge. Cyclonus was a big boy too, so. Okay, so as per the usual, you know the drill by now. We got instructions. Ooh. We got a character card. We got, yeah, just like Cyclonus, or was it Cyclonus? I can't remember. But they sometimes come with these little guys that maybe this guy turns into a gun for him or something, but I don't remember them during the cartoon at all, to be honest. But they're obviously in there for a reason, so. And then, of course, a wapunda, or a weapon for all you normal people. Little nice blue blaster with a little red targeting thing on it. Nice color. And then whatever the hell this is. So yeah, that's what's in the package. Let's take this big hoss out of this package. He's huge. Holy. That's what she said. Oh, and he's got a little stand too because he's a he's a ship. Ah. So there he is. Big boy Scourge. What are those for? So there he is, yeah. He's really light, but really big. He does have some landing gear, it looks like. Yeah. The wheels that come out. So yeah, I guess you can, you know, have him parked normally, I guess. Yeah, I just want to. All right, there he is. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted just by looking at him here. But yeah, we'll get some pictures of him and then we'll switch over to time-lapse mode and get him transformed into his robot mode. And then we be done, y'all. So how do you feel about Scourge? I am pleasantly surprised. When I first got him out of the box and I mentioned he was really big but also really light, he actually for some reason seems a bit heavier in robot mode. I don't know, it's not even possible. It's the same mass, but he does feel a lot bigger, sturdier, heavier in his robot mode. There's not a lot of metal, if any. Maybe this piece, not a lot of metal at all, but everything was tight, joints were tight. His transformation, when I first saw his vehicle mode in my head, I was like, I have a feeling his transformation is going to be, you know, somewhat less complicated than a lot of other characters, because it was almost like all this shell that ends up being his like wings or whatever you want to call them, his cape. Basically, it was just a cocoon for his body, and you just basically had to fold out a few things, click things in place, and whatever. So his transformation was actually pretty simple for how complicated it might look with all the things sticking out everywhere. So that was a plus. I also like a lot of the detail on the mold. A lot of like little highlight accent things painted red. And one of his most distinct traits was his red or pinkish fingertips that he had for some reason. I always picked up on that on the cartoon, and I thought that's kind of a neat little accent they've added on there. So they have that as one of his trademark looks. And also, he's got like a mustache and a goatee. So he looks just like he does in the cartoon. So I thought this actually ended up being a really good representation of Scourge from the G1 cartoon. And yeah, just overall very pleasantly surprised by it. I still don't know why he was so overpriced in so many cases, because his figure compared to a lot of the other ones I've done of similar caliber characters from the show, there's nothing here that screams to me, this guy's worth 100, 150 bucks more than this guy, right? So I don't know what that was about, if it was just he was more rare for some reason or had been out for a long time and you couldn't really find him anymore. But I am glad that I did find him, because he's a very cool toy. I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I'm very happy that I got him for the price that I did. So, not sure what's going to be coming next week, because I have a couple guys from the Masterpiece line still on the way. I don't know if they're going to be here. They're both kind of related to each other, so I don't know if I'm going to do them separately or as a 2-for-1 sort of thing. So next week is kind of up in the air at this point. So there may not be a video next week. It might be something different. It might be something similar. I just don't know yet, because I have other stuff as a backup if my Masterpiece scale guys don't come in. So, but I'm still planning out next weekend in my head at this point. I got a week to figure it out. So yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be a mystery.
Meow.